Hi, I'm Minty Yukime. I've been a VTuber since 2020 and I've been transitioning from male to female since 2018. I have had a lot of stuff happen. Let's see. I've had 2 major surgeries, 3.5 designs. I had 1 apartment that burned down. I married a VTuber. I made a lot of friends. I moved into a house which now has 6 VTubers in it. I got some death threats, and I've learned a lot of stuff. So if any of that interests you, sit back, get a drink, and let me take you on a quick trip through the last 5 years. Let me set expectations for this. This is not an in-depth guide for transitioning, it's just my personal experience, and I hope that maybe it can help you, even just in a small way. I know this is bad for viewer retention and YouTube might obliterate me, but it's probably the thing most of you are interested in, so I had a vocal feminization surgery done in 2021, which is just a little under 5 years ago now, and this is what I sound like. And for reference, here's some clips of how I sounded 10 years ago.
Hello and welcome to Dark Souls. Alright, so I don't know a whole lot about this game. I'll just start up here. So let's do a new game. Hello everyone and welcome to Pokemon Puzzle League. So, as you can see, I've lost the audio for this video file, and as such I am going to be commentating after the fact.
I'm high-key embarrassed, so I'm only sharing a small bit, and I'm struggling to get myself to put this in the video, but I think it's valuable to listen to, so yeah. Things have really changed, huh? So if that's all you cared about, that's okay, but I do have a special surprise at the end of the video that I think is super worth hanging on and watching for, so maybe check it out? Okay, and one more interruption before I get into the real video, but let me break your immersion for a second here because I think this will be important to some people as well, especially trans people watching. Here's a picture of me from 10 years ago versus a picture of me now. So, I don't know about you, but I think that's a pretty big definitive difference, right? I'm gonna get back into the actual video now. Thanks for listening to me ramble, and thanks for clicking and like and subscribe and all that other stuff. Who cares? Anyway, have a wonderful day. Chapter 1. How I became a VTuber. Before I started VTubing, I was a facecam Twitch streamer. I played League of Legends with friends and occasionally tried to do some Jackbox games, and I had a huge audience of 0 viewers. Maybe 1 to 3 sometimes if I had my phone on and my friends had their streams on while we played. But yeah, basically I was just not anyone at all. I was shy and insecure. I was playing on a laptop. My webcam had poor lighting. I didn't know what I was doing at all. But I kept on trying because I wanted to be a streamer. Video games got me through the hardest times in my life, and I literally would not be alive without them, so they mean so much to me, and so getting to play them for a living sounded like a dream come true. I actually tried making a YouTube channel back in 2012. Okay, hold on. Editing Yuki here. 2007? 2007? That's goddamn 19 years? I'm perished. Goodbye. Call me out.
Bye, have a great time.
See you in the next life.
Mom?
Please send help. I promise I'm young still. I promise. It took me so long to get any attention on anything, and I gave up so many times and restarted so many times. But mostly gave up a lot. I didn't reach 50 or 100 followers until many months in, and they were huge milestones for me. I was so excited about them. And maybe that sounds silly now, but I still remember how big of a deal that was to me. It still feels crazy. One day, my little sister Priscilla told me about VTubing. She showed me some Hololive VTubers, some indie VTubers, she showed me Kiryu Koko and Shirakami Fubuki and Haruka Caribou and Senirsa. And I said that I was going to help her figure out how to become a VTuber because she was always shy and timid, and it excited me that she wanted to stream. I tried doing some research, and information was kind of hard to find back then. I thought maybe you used FaceRig, or you had to have a 3D model, or I didn't even know what VTube Studio was. I didn't know anything. But I got lucky, and I stumbled upon a Twitter account that was starting off doing live 2D model commissions. And that was the artist and game dev who made the very model I'm talking to you now with. A wonderfully talented and fun person, Daisy, my model mama. Her links will be in the description below, and she was wonderful. I saw her art and I fell in love with it. I just knew that, okay, actually, I do want to become a VTuber too. And the price was not cheap for me at the time. It was $750, which for a full body live 2D model with commercial rights, if you know about anything in VTubing, Thanks for following. I forgot I had that. I'll be real with you, like that's a lot of money. I just happened to be lucky enough to have had a job with a little tiny bit of disposable income before I found her, so I had just enough room to work with to maybe make it happen. And I decided it was worth it, and I'm really, really happy that I did. So I knew how to stream, I knew what VTubing was, and I found my artist. But if I was going to be a VTuber, I needed a design. Aren't I great at transitions? Chapter 2, the story behind the design. This part was the most fun for me. I went to do a couple of pick crews, which are like little character creators online, and tried a couple different ideas. I knew that I wanted something related to like snow and winter because that was always my favorite season. And I was thinking of things related to winter. I was like Christmas, mint. And I realized, oh, I love peppermint and candy canes, and mint chocolate ice cream has always been my favorite flavor. So that was obvious. And I really loved Kimono Mimi girls, and I had an OC who was a fox girl that I'll talk more about a little later. And I just went full in on making the design as good for my brain as possible. I just made it everything that I wanted so that it was for me and not for other people. I also wanted to be a singer for all of my life, but I had a ton of dysphoria and trauma and stuff that stopped me from ever being happy with my voice. And so I knew I had a couple of big points. I liked winter, I liked mint, I liked fox girls, and I wanted to sing. Thank you, attentive listener, for listening. I mentioned I played League of Legends before. League released a character named Seraphine. They ran a social media campaign with her where she had a Twitter account, and they posted a bunch of like art and stuff that was in character, saying like, oh, I'm going out to like the beach, and it would be her drawn on like a beach or something. And I thought that was really cool and like immersive and fun. And I thought, okay, well, if I'm gonna be a VTuber, maybe I should do a social media campaign like Seraphine's. And it was so fun that I decided to do it, and I started to build this idea in my head of like a winter mint kind of character. It was like a fox girl, and I was like, okay, well, Seraphine's an idol. I want to sing. I know I can't really sing very well, but maybe I can be an idol wannabe. I dreamed of being a famous idol someday and singing proudly to the world, so she would too. And she was going to try to become a streamer to help practice, find her voice, and make her dreams come true. She had a ways to go, but I thought it would be cute if she was like an apprentice shrine maiden in training, so she had work to do that was not streaming, kind of like how I had my full-time job still. All the pieces were kind of coming together. I did a bunch of research into like Shinto shrines and shrine maidens, and I learned about Inari Kitsune, which are white-haired kitsunes that are nice to people, basically. I just kind of thought, that works. That kind of works, right? I did a bit of brainstorming and decided to go with the name Wintermintyy for social media. But her actual character name as a VTuber was Yukime, the Minty Fox. And where did I get that name from? I'm gonna speed run some of this info, so sorry if I go too fast, but here goes. Yuki means snow, Hime means princess, Yume means dreams. Yukime can also mean budding sprouts. Put all those together and you get a name that is full of possible definitions and meanings that all relate back to my core idea of this character that made me really happy, and it felt like it was important. I knew that there were a ton of VTubers named Yuki though, so I wanted to have a way to be referred to that wasn't so common. Hence the name Wintermintyy. Eventually, I decided to make the change to Minty Yukime. The people started calling me Minty. I've kind of liked that. Essentially, I wanted to have a name that was a little more unique, and I didn't know anybody named Minty back then, so I went with that. I wanted to incorporate mint into the design, and I decided that I was going to use white for like the snowy color for my hair, blue for like a cool mint color, green for spearmint, and pink for peppermint. They'd all be pastels, and you can see those original colors in my design. The cherry on top was the little pink heart eyes, which was just something I thought was cute, and as you can see, I still have them today. I don't really know why exactly I chose to have big hair drills. The best I can recall is thinking that they were very like princess core. They just kind of became a part of the design because I liked them. Making my VTuber was a very self-indulgent process. I made an OC that I loved, and I loved every aspect of it, and I didn't let shame or anything stop me from being the way I wanted to. So I did a lot of prep work, a whole mountain of theory crafting and planning, and I drew up a rough idea for an idol outfit. You can see it here. And I passed it over to a couple of artists, and I ended up with my first design. I got these sketches back, and I was so excited. But how was I going to use this character, right? If I was kind of treating her like a character, how was I going to use her? And that was another great transition by me, Minty Yukime, Queen of Transitions. Hold on, this bit is still going and will get better over time, I promise, probably. Chapter 3, Becoming Bakarina. I started to write a light novel with Yukime as the main character. I wanted her to be this perfect, wonderful person full of energy and life that was a bit of a klutz and a little stupid, but full of life and emotional intelligence and care for others. That all might seem a little random, but I had recently watched My Next Life as a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom, or Bakarina, as I will affectionately call it for the rest of the video. And the main character, Katarina Claes, also known as Bakarina, affectionately by the fandom, was exactly the type of character that was just impossible to not fall in love with. I really, really loved that show, and I wanted so desperately to be the kind of person who would be loved like that, and be worthy of it. So I decided that if I was going to be playing a character for VTubing, I might as well make that character the ultimate idealized version of myself that I never thought I could reach. And I hoped that maybe fake it till you make it would work out for me. I only ever wrote a couple chapters of the light novel, but you can actually still go and read them on wintermintyy.wordpress.com, link in the description. But it was enough to get the ball rolling on the character and how I would play her, and by extension, how I was going to represent myself online going forward. I wanted to get a lot of art and really bring life to the character through her social media, like the Seraphine campaign did. And so something I did that I could never do today, without getting absolutely flooded by bots, was I asked on a public tweet for artists to promote themselves to me, because I wanted to pay a bunch of people to draw my character. And it sounds fake, but legit. I made so many friends and got art from so many talented people. I'll share a bunch of it up here, and I'll be linking like a ton of descriptions, like accounts, because so many wonderful artists have contributed to me and my presentation of myself online and the character of Minty Yukime. And I'm so happy that I had a little bit of disposable income and a lot of people who were really passionate, kind, and talented. So I got my art, I passed it over to Daisy. She put together my model for me super fast. Like, I first messaged her in July, and she finished my model mid-October. I was blown away by seeing my character come to life. Setting up the face tracking through VTube Studio with my iPhone, I felt a type of joy that I didn't even know was possible. It felt like real, actual gender euphoria. And I felt so extremely happy that, like, that was me. I was becoming Yukime. And you know something silly? I didn't even know there was a community of VTubers on Twitter that all did that playing a character thing, or were just themselves, or anything in between. Like, I just wanted to do the Seraphine thing, and I kind of accidentally tripped into the huge booming community of VTubers that were doing the same stuff. It was during this time that I met some of the most important people in my life, like Momo, who literally went from flirting with me in a reply on a Twitter thread to actually marrying me just a few years later. Not joking, that's real. She's my wife. I had been in a relationship for almost 9 years when I met Momo, and she made me realize that I was afraid to give myself alone time to work on things that I wanted to do. And it really opened my eyes. I had always felt like I had to be working to earn the trust and love of the people around me, and I forgot that I deserved that same love in return. I forgot that it was okay for me to live my own life instead of just helping others around me while suppressing my own needs and desires. I had a messy breakup with my ex that left me shattered, and Momo was there to help me pick up the pieces and put me back together. And in 2022, we got married. She's been a big part of helping me get to where I am today, which I'm grateful to say is a pretty good place, all things considered. Okay, sorry, I got off topic a bit, but let's step back to 2020 again, where I was trying out playing a character. I later learned about the word kayfabe, which is a term in wrestling that describes staying in character while performing, and I didn't even know that that's what I was doing. I just thought I would play a character because it would be fun, and I hoped that it would eventually make me into a version of myself that I would love and be proud of, because I had never really felt that way before. And like, it kind of worked, almost scarily well. Like, it was so natural for me to play the character like that. Before I knew it, I was just genuinely being myself, and it all seemed in character. It kind of blew my mind. I still tell people that fake it till you make it works, because that worked so well for me. I was suddenly in this community full of people who were interested in me. I debuted my model, and suddenly I had 10, then 20, then 30, then 40 viewers, and I was riding an adrenaline high for the entire thing. Like, I felt like maybe I really actually was worthy of being loved. Maybe I could actually do this and succeed. And I will never forget how that day felt, because it was just so nice, and I had never felt so surrounded by love in my whole life. I'm gonna make myself fucking cry recording this, gosh. But then the debut ended, and I found myself just being another streamer again, playing games and not really having anything all that exciting or cool going on for me. I saw these amazing creators singing and drawing and making beautiful art. I knew I was going to have to work really hard to be worthy of the support and care and interest I had received, because I couldn't do any of those things all those other people were doing. And so, over the course of my last 5 years, while I was learning to be a VTuber, I was also learning how to write music, how to sing, how to do art, and draw. I've learned so many things that I used to think people were so incredible for having as skills. And I'm proud of myself. I'm sorry, it's stupid. It's really fucking stupid, but I've never felt proud of myself before. And now I really fucking do. Sorry. Sorry. It just feels really nice. It feels really, really nice to have thought that I was a nobody with no skills and no talent. I wasn't worth anything. And people kept on telling me that I was. So I kept trying, and I'm just really glad I'm here now. I'm really, really glad. Thank you all for all the support. I'm gonna keep trying really hard to make stuff and to become as an amazing... Words are so hard. And to become an amazing person like you all think to... Like you all... Like... I'm literally actually crying. This makes it so hard to record. I should probably calm down first, but thank you. Thank you for all the love and support, because I never thought I would get here. Most of my life, I just assumed that I wouldn't make it past 20 years old, then 25, then 30. But here I am. And I'm learning cool things, and I'm making cool stuff, and people like me. Thank you. Thank you, every single person who's contributed. Artists, friends, partners. I'm finally surrounded by love and comfort. And I feel like I'm worth something. And it's okay for me to want things. It's okay for me to want attention. It's okay for me to be me. I had some crazy, ridiculous expectations for myself, but I think I'm starting to understand now that, that's okay. I just have to... I don't have to keep trying so hard to be a fake nice person, because I actually am nice. I never used to believe that. I used to think that I was so broken, so hurt, I would never ever be able to be a good person. I thought that I was dangerous. I thought I was a psychopath. I thought nothing good could have come from my family, but no. You know, that's not true. I have feelings. I have dreams. I have kindness in my heart. I just want other people to be happy. I want to be happy. A little bit too late to put the crying on, huh? fine. I usually smile and laugh when I cry anyway, so this is maybe more realistic. I don't know if I'll include any of this, but thank you. I'm so happy. I hope I get to make a lot more people's worlds brighter. I'm gonna try really hard to shine and make the world a brighter place. I hope you'll join me. Thank you so much. Okay, deep breath, deep breath. Transitioning is hard. I left all that in because I was watching it back and I thought that editing it might take away some of the experience because those feelings were really genuine. They made me cry again on the editing process. So I hope you enjoyed. I'm sorry if that was weird because transitioning is hard. Transitioning is so hard. Check this out. Oh, wait, I messed up. Can we redo it? Pretend that one didn't happen, okay? This one counts. Unfortunately, it wasn't all sunshines and roses though, because being a young, vulnerable trans girl online, I faced a lot of problems and hard situations very quickly. I'm great at transitions. Did I mention that? And we transition into the next part. Chapter 4. Things got weird. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. No, not an elephant VTuber. Actually, it was a bat VTuber. Sure, I could have said let's talk about the bat in the room, but that sounds weird. Like, God, lay off, okay? Imaginary viewer who I have created in my head. You're always so rude to me, and I'm done putting up with it. If you want to complain, at least do it in a comment so it drives my engagement instead of giving me anxiety. Oh, but if you know a bat or an elephant VTuber, tell me about them. Not so I can check out their content, just so I can trick you into commenting and doing networking with other VTubers for me. What? I told people out loud on stream and Twitter from the very start that I was hoping to make VTubing into a career. I wanted to succeed in a big way and be able to make this my full-time job. Is that a bad thing? I don't get why people are afraid of saying, yes, I want to succeed and make money. Like, I'm pretty sure most people want that. What were we talking about again? Who put this elephant here? Oh, I hope that joke went on too long and you're considering clicking off now, because that means if I take the joke just a little further, you'll change your mind and decide I'm actually quirky in a good way. And I did just say kitty face out loud just now. Kitty face, lay off. I won't get into all the details because frankly, I'm past these issues now, but I met a certain VTuber who no longer exists on the internet, and her name was Saluna back then. And if you think the pacing in anime is crazy, you should have been there for this. It took less than a month for us to meet, get along, decide to be best friends, and then quickly we ran into issues of guilting and obsession, and those turned ugly very fast. And I suddenly found myself being accused of being an abuser and a terrible person, and like, it was just really hard trying to be this super sweet, nice person and having my kindness turned against me and into an accusation of being the type of person that I most feared being. I grew up in a household built on lies and a thinly veiled facade of everything being okay when it really wasn't. So it super hit me hard to have that happen. Thankfully, for the most part, everyone in the situation either knew me enough to know it wasn't real, or they blocked me and then later unblocked me. Or they might still have me blocked, but I don't actually remember anyone who did that. So if they're not in my life, I guess that's just how it is now. So the truth has a way of coming out on its own, and I'm really grateful to especially Mixty+ Celeste for showing up into my life and moderating a chat between me and Saluna that, while it didn't fix everything, it helped a lot. She gave me the benefit of the doubt. It could have been so much worse. It could have been so much worse, and it wasn't, thankfully. It took about a year for things to reach a boil. Saluna went ahead and hurt a bunch of other people while that was happening. So eventually, I ended up getting contacted to work together on, a Google Docky. Yeah, drama. Woo! Sound the applause. But it actually, helped clarify the truth. It's crazy, but it genuinely helped people see how hurtful she was, cleared my name of the allegations, and she quit. She vanished off the internet. Maybe she's still there somewhere, but she no longer uses that model or name, so that's her life and her business now. Between that and a couple of waves of hate I received due to being trans and loud about it, speaking up on some issues, and occasionally getting a little bit carried away with my attempts to totally own the haters, like in this tweet I made about Wizard Game that in my defense was really funny, and I didn't expect it to get seen by many people. When you act superior and mean to people online, even if they're trolls, sometimes it has a way to come back and bite you. Which is what happened when I started to receive some weird gift suggestions on Throne. For the uninitiated, Throne is a website that lets you list stuff you want online and lets fans or friends or whoever purchase those things for you. And there was this cool option for suggesting gifts. But it turns out that people can suggest anything they want and do it anonymously. So I don't know who did that. I started to receive gift suggestions of rope and t-shirts with my dead name and the city that I lived in on them. And I started to receive messages on the gifts that were very, very heavily implying that they wanted me to die and that they were going to do it themselves. So yeah, death threats, fun. It's actually crazy. You hear about this a lot online and it sounds super fake, but I actually genuinely was kind of scared. And I went to a police station hoping to file a report just in case people showed up because they had shared the city and like stuff that I was in. They knew where I lived. They knew a bunch of stuff about me. So I went to the police and tried to file a report just in case. And I kid you not, the cops, some 50-year-old white guy literally told me, don't believe everything you hear online. Those words verbatim just refused to let me put in a report. I even tried to explain, like, I don't really think they're gonna like actually come and like kill me or something, but I would like to have an official record of this threat so that if it does become a legal issue eventually, like I'll have some proof of it, right? And they just shooed me away. Thank goodness there was an empty threat, I guess, right? I also had a bad habit of acting superior to people. I'm learning to stop doing that, but it has earned me a bit of a reputation with some niche hater groups online, which like, that's just how it's gonna be. I'll adjust my behavior and the rest really isn't up to me, and that's okay. I can't think of how to transition to the next part, but you know, I guess I already transitioned in life, so here we are. I'm great at this. Chapter 5, my transition. Okay, so I talked a lot about VTubing, but I want to share some of what was going on behind the scenes too. I want to give a quick trigger warning here. I'm going to be talking about some heavy topics because they are my real lived experience, and I want more people to be empowered to speak out about their own struggles and traumas. So I'm putting my best foot forward. I'm now in a safe, healthy place, living with my new found family. So please know this is not a plea for help or pity. My main reason for wanting to share is so that anyone out there with similar traumas might feel seen and less alone. I survived, and I hope that you survive your circumstances too. I'll be talking about mental and physical abuse, suicidal ideation, self-harm, eating disorders, and generally hard things to talk about. So if you're sensitive to that stuff or you're just not interested, that's okay. Just go ahead and skip to this time here. Stay safe, stay hydrated, and I'll catch you in the next section. Without further ado, okay, so no easy way to say this. I grew up in an abusive household. My earliest memories include things like being locked in my bedroom all day with no food or water, watching physical fights between my parents, seeing my older stepbrother thrown out a window by my mom, being beaten and screamed at for small mistakes, being locked in the basement to sleep with cold paint chips on the floor and nothing but a few paper grocery bags to lay on, being bruised so badly that my dad forced me to wear long pants, even in the summer, so that no one would ever see them, going in and out of courtrooms and foster homes, being physically attacked by my siblings, being told I was annoying and I was bad at art and I should stop singing because I was annoying, being harshly punished anytime that I got less than an A in any of the classes I went to, being told I couldn't be friends with any people of color and that queers were all terrible weirdos and I couldn't be around them. I could deliver anecdotes all day that probably sound made up because they are so absurd, But unfortunately, they are real. I think you probably get the idea though, so instead of dwelling on that, let me just say this to anyone out there listening who might need to hear it. You are not alone, and you can and should seek help. As a minor, I definitely needed someone to tell me that it was okay to stand up for myself and that parents aren't always looking out for your best interests. And if they physically harm you, as much as they scare you, they should be the ones who fear you. Because if you talk to other people, especially other adults, you can get away from that. There are foster homes and even just friends you can make who might be willing to have you stay with them. Life does not have to be a living hell, so please hang in there and seek help if you need it. Okay, sorry, I just really wanted to get that out there for anybody in need. It's extremely important to me. But the reason I bring this stuff up is because I was so afraid of being anything other than the picture-perfect son my father wanted that I never even considered anything about myself until I was 21, when a friend of mine came out to me as trans. I had never even really heard of being trans as a thing that existed, let alone something someone I knew was capable of, and my partner at the time came out to me as some sort of non-binary and thanked me for being accepting and willing to use their preferred pronouns and such, and offered me the same kindness, that if I ever wanted to explore who I am that way, they would support me. It was a strange moment for me because I sort of reflexively said, I probably am some sort of something, but it would be so inconvenient and I could never let my dad know or I would be in a lot of trouble. But they talked with me about it and they made me realize that I don't have to live under his thumb for my whole life. And that almost immediately made me start realizing I had a really large disgust for men and masculinity that was deeply internalized. And I had been wishing I could have been a girl in the past, but I just wrote it off as a fleeting feeling because, again, I had no idea trans people even existed until that point in my life. I first tried out playing a female character in a tabletop role-playing game based on Ruby, and that's when I made Claire Vincent, the clairvoyant fox faunus. It was mind-blowing to me how much fun role-playing as a girl was, and I very quickly found myself realizing that that's what I wanted to be, so I tried it out. I went by the name Claire at first, and it felt nice. Even though I didn't stick with that name, it's always going to hold a special place in my heart. And yes, that does mean that Dungeons & Dragons turned your son gay, trans, and furry. So look out, Dungeons & Dragons is coming to turn your kids gay. I started socially transitioning after moving out from my abusive family's household in 2018 and medically in 2019. As I was becoming my new self online, I was also doing the same thing in my real life. I struggled with a lot of dysphoria, and I was doing vocal training and taking HRT for a few years, so I decided to try to start looking into surgeries. I really wanted to get top surgery, but it was never going to get covered by insurance where I lived, and it was so expensive, so I gave up that one. I didn't think I needed bottom surgery, so I went out on a limb and asked my doctor about vocal surgery. I was surprised to find out that not only was it available locally, but it was $3,000, which was a lot, obviously, but it wasn't entirely impossible. Online, it said that it would be $10,000, $20,000, and I had just given up on it because of that. But $3,000? I had made some money from my job, and I was able to raise some money with a subathon, and with a lot of help from amazing friends and supporters, I was able to afford it. I'd like to give a special shout out to my friend Rach, who stopped by and ran a cool little duel with me. Here's an awesome artwork from it, doing the JoJo walk. And they dropped a really big, hefty sum on me and helped me get to the amounts I needed for the surgery. And I'm so very, very grateful for it. I didn't have all the information though, to be honest. I tried to do research, but it's surprisingly difficult to know what information is real or relevant. I decided just to say fuck it and go for it and hope for the best though. See, my biggest source of dysphoria was my voice. Even before I realized I was trans, I wished that I had a better singing voice. I lamented not being able to hit the high notes that pop singers regularly threw around like nothing. I always wanted to be able to make music and sing, but I was told that I wasn't talented and I should give up by teachers and classmates, and well, it really made me lock up my desires in an ironclad emotional safe, and I gave up on those dreams. Once I was trying to be perceived as a girl, I felt like I would never escape the deep notes of my voice and the shallow, weak, high range that I had. I tried really hard, but I was never able to maintain vocal training techniques. I always slid back down to my comfortable, very deep voice. I hated hearing myself in recordings. So when I heard about vocal surgery, I knew it wouldn't change my voice into a different person's, but I hoped that raising my resting voice would be enough for me. And it was. I've been blown away by my new voice, and I legit haven't been misgendered in public or on the phone even a single time since. Sure, people on the internet sometimes like to say vile things to me, and I would be lying if I said that it didn't get to me. I'm not immune to mean comments. I still remember people who showed up during my facecam streams and said awful things, like telling me I was evil or pathetic or disgusting and trying to hurt my feelings. I tried to pretend that they couldn't because I didn't want to let them win. But it did hurt my feelings. And I'm not gonna hide that anymore. If people are mean to me, I'm just gonna be honest and tell them that it's hurtful, and it makes me sad. I don't wanna make enemies and act superior and smarter to everyone, because it just gives them what they want and drags me down to their level. I bring all of this up because I think it's a real and important part of trying to be trans, and it's a reality trans people have to face, and it's so fucking hard to deal with. It's really, really hard. Vocal surgery made me hate my voice a lot less. And I ended up getting bottom surgery 2 years ago because my insurance covered it. And it literally fixed my brain. Between the vocal surgery and the bottom surgery, I didn't think that I needed it, but I'm so fucking glad I got it. It's not for everyone, and I think it's really important to understand all of the hardship that comes with the surgery. But for me, it was everything I needed, and I didn't even know it. I'll make another video about the bottom surgery stuff if people are interested. Let me know in the comments if you would want that video, because I do have a lot of experience with it. I was finally starting to be happy with my body. I liked my voice, it seemed like everything was going well, and my partners and roomies gave me the push I needed to give full-time content creation a try. I'm so endlessly grateful, and part of why I want to succeed so badly is to be able to help and give back and support them as well. But just as everything seemed to be going well, my dysphoria was melting away, I was trying really hard to make content, and then the world decided to throw a silly little curveball at me. Of course things couldn't go right all the time, right? Transition, hey, dab, 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 say dab out loud. I wrote that down, but that's cringe, so I'm not doing it, but I guess I am doing it. Woo! Chapter 6, The Fire and Disability. I was at home playing a game, I don't even remember now, with my wife Momo, when we smelled something burning. We thought maybe a neighbor was doing a cookout outside or something, and then we got some frantic knocking on the door and we heard shouting outside. We quickly realized that we were being warned to get out because there was a fire burning through our apartment. We frantically scrambled to get our cats into their carriers. I even had this crazy moment of adrenaline where Shizuma, my boy cat, picture of him here, was panicking and he slipped away from us, and Momo screamed out no in the most desperate voice I could ever heard, and I ran over and in a rush I picked up the whole bed so that she could go and grab him underneath it, and we got him into his carrier. We rushed out after being dangerously close to being caught in the smoke and the blaze. Firefighters arrived and put out the flames, and after some time reality started to sink in. We were homeless. The apartment was horrifying to go through. Everything smelled of smoke, and it was hard to breathe even weeks after the fire. We had to sift through to rescue our belongings. We somehow squeezed all 4 of us into one of our mom's house's living room with 2 air mattresses and got to work finding a new place to live. We had to compromise with a much too small apartment with a very tall staircase to the 2nd floor. We didn't think the stairs were too bad. We were happy to have a home, and we got tons of support from people online. They started a GoFundMe and raised a bunch of money for us that managed to get us, thankfully, into a new house and prevent us from all needing to go bankrupt together. So I'm really eternally grateful for the support we got. I pushed on, and somehow I managed to make my first ever original song. It was a hard time, but I was able to push through it. And then right as I was getting back to making content and streaming, I felt confident in my voice and making music. And then another unfortunate thing happened, seemingly out of nowhere. I managed to twist my spine while lifting up my cat, Yuki. I know, her name is the same as mine. That's a coincidence. I lifted my cat up, twisted, and tore a spinal disc. It's hard to explain just how painful and bad it was, and it just never got better. I felt like an electric jolt in my back, and I had to collapse onto the couch. I couldn't get up or move. It was just really bad and scary. I went to physical therapy, but after 2 months of it, even the people doing it told me that it seemed like it was only making things worse. So I was eventually able to get x-rays, but they didn't show any problems. Eventually, I got an MRI, and that's where they found the torn disc. They told me that it was too small to be the problem, and it destroyed me. I was suddenly physically disabled. Anytime that I wanted to do things, everything was harder. Getting up, walking around, taking care of myself, even sitting upright at a desk was really painful and difficult. I am still struggling with it. I've gotten some medication and learned a lot of like coping mechanisms, and I've gotten a lot of support, but it's really taken a huge toll on me. And I don't know how to transition into the next part. Transitions? That's me. On to chapter 7. Chapter 7, Hitting Rock Bottom. I'm going to put a trigger warning here. I'm going to be talking about some really heavy stuff like eating disorders, suicidal ideation, self-harm, addiction, and just a lot of really heavy stuff. So if you're sensitive to that, please skip ahead to the next section and just know I went through a hard time. To those of you who are sticking around, however, let's get into it. If it wasn't already abundantly clear, I am extremely neurodivergent. I'm autistic, I have ADHD, I have clinical depression and anxiety, I have an eating disorder. Basically, you name a problem and it's something that I've had to contend with throughout my life. So I don't say this to like win the trauma Olympics or get pity or anything. I just know that there are so many people out there with the same struggles or worse. And I hope that some of them are watching this video and maybe seeing that they're not alone and that things do get better. It takes time and it's not easy, but it does get better. So I wasn't really able to stream at all since I couldn't sit up at my desk for more than 30 minutes without being in agonizing pain so bad it made me practically incapable of thinking. I wasn't able to do the chores around the house. I used to do a lot to help my partners out, but standing to do dishes would take me upwards of 2 hours because I had to take a lot of breaks. If any attentive listeners recall, I mentioned I had moved into a place on the second floor with a very tall staircase, so I couldn't really take the trash out without extreme pain and discomfort. Bad enough that I actually worried I wouldn't be able to make it all the way up the stairs sometimes. I tried to go with Momo and Venus to the grocery store to be helpful, but I regularly ended up exhausted and uncomfortable to the point that they noticed and asked if I was okay and suggested I go lay down in the car while they finished the trip. 2 months passed by with no improvement, so they suggested maybe I should get a cane. I was actually surprised with how helpful it was. I still walk with a cane anytime I have to go out for like a longer trip involving standing or walking, and thankfully I got a handicap placard from my doctors, so if it isn't clear by how I've described it so far, I felt so useless. I was suddenly unemployed and disabled, and I was starting to give up. I realized that I could no longer play the character that I wanted to be because I no longer believed in myself. I thought that me even wanting to be alive was selfish and harmful to the people around me. I had become scared of myself and scared that I was lying to everyone about being a sweet, kind, caring person when in reality I was a detached, aloof, manipulative, weak, and pathetic thing that the world would be better off without. And so I stopped lying to the world and I started telling them my thoughts. My mean, hurtful thoughts, my manipulative thoughts, my sinister, stuck-up, rude, angry thoughts. I labeled myself as a menhera, mentally ill, and I made myself into a digital being because it didn't feel like I had a body that was worth anything physically in the real world anymore. It probably sounds stupid, like some 12-year-old kid's edgy, just a glimpse into my dark, fucked up mind kind of BS, but I legitimately have been insecure and afraid that there must be something wrong with me, that I inherited some sort of evil from my family that was destined to always hurt everyone around me. By existing and trying to be happy, and I didn't know what to do about it. So I started warning people. I stuck a label on my forehead, calling myself toxic, mean, evil, because I thought maybe, just maybe, if people expected me to be evil, they wouldn't get attached to me and get hurt when my emotions or my ADHD don't do what I want them to. And it made my genuine feelings and words that I gave them hollow. It made them hurtful. I just really wanted to stop hurting people, but I didn't know how. I'll talk about Mixty a bit more at the end, but I updated my VTuber design to reflect those changes during this time. Things spiraled. As I stopped taking care of myself, I avoided eating because I was caught in an unhealthy cycle of thinking maybe all I was worth was my physical appearance. People told me I was attractive, and so I tried to lose weight so I would be thinner and prettier. I weighed myself every day and took my clothes off to weigh myself to see if the number would get lower. I thought I would save money by not eating, and I didn't deserve to eat since I didn't do anything helpful. I thought that if I stopped eating enough, maybe no one would notice and I would just kind of die eventually, at least. That way I would stop being a burden to my partners and friends. I started to get anxiety so bad that I would think that I was going to forget how to breathe and choked it up on nothing at all. I was afraid, scared, hurt, and worthless. I had spent all that time working on becoming the woman I wanted to be, getting surgeries, taking medications, going to psychologists and psychiatrists, getting referral letters, and for what? It's hard to explain to people who haven't gone through it, or were at least close to people who had gone through similar struggles, but I just saw the dreams I had of traveling to cool places and seeing the northern lights, games I wanted to play, people I wanted to spend time with, all slip away right out of my hands. I had endured 20 plus years of familial abuse, worked super hard at my job, content creation, and with helping my partners to reach happier places in their lives. And I just had to watch as I was no longer able to help, and stress mounted and built up. And I know none of them hold it against me, and I'm so grateful for the love and support. But I know it has been and still is a burden to live with and take care of me. A small sliver of hope came as a devil's bargain for me, though, as recreational marijuana was legalized where I live. Getting high is a really effective method for dealing with chronic pain. I couldn't really afford the $300 I needed upfront to get the medical marijuana card, but since it was available for anyone now, I started to get high a lot. I depended on it because if I wasn't high, I was suffering. It didn't fix my physical condition, but it dulled the pain enough that I was finally able to sit at my desk again and even walk around the house and do stuff, as long as the high lasted at least. And to complicate everything even further, I also learned that alcohol was an effective method for pain management too. It was good news that I had 2 ways to deal with my pain, but if it isn't obvious to you, those are some dangerous things to be messing with. I've always tried to be really safe about not becoming an alcoholic or smoking or doing any illicit drugs, but suddenly weed and alcohol were the only things that let me function as a person. I don't think I need to explain why that wasn't exactly a good thing though. Right. I ended up picking up self-harm as a coping mechanism because I thought that maybe if I could cope with that, I wouldn't need to depend on alcohol and weed as much, and I could avoid becoming addicted. Look, I never said I was smart or emotionally stable, okay? It came to a boil when I got to a point where I was casually overdosing on my pain meds and antidepressants, ADHD meds, and also getting high and then going live. I felt like I could manage the pain and I could be happy and funny and people liked me when I was happy and silly, so I just did those things because I had stopped caring about my own life. Thankfully, I ended up telling Momo about it. And even as I was trying to tell her it wasn't a big deal because I wasn't actually suicidal, she stopped me dead in my tracks and told me that it was a serious problem at that point. She reminded me that overdosing was dangerous and I was one step away from attempting to take my own life with a bigger overdose, and she didn't want to lose me and she didn't want to come home to find me dead. That felt like a really, really eye-opening moment for me. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be getting choked up like this, but even if I didn't value my life, she's still dead. I had friends and partners who cared about me, and so I found a mental health rehabilitation program that could be done online via webcam voice calls, since I couldn't physically go to a location, named Charlie Health, and I signed up for it. Let me just say, if you're mentally unwell or struggling with things even close to as severe as this, or know anyone in the United States who is, please look into or recommend Charlie Health to them. Over the 3 months I spent in the program, I learned a lot and grew as a person. I kicked the self-starvation and overdosing habits, and I only drink alcohol once in a while for like parties with friends. I still get high, but not multiple times a day every day. And even though the pain is still very real and very hard to deal with, I've learned to cope a lot better, and I've learned to give myself kindness, largely thanks to that program. It probably saved my life, or at least improved it significantly, and I'm always going to be grateful to the people running that program for the kindness and help they gave me. Not even to mention all the love and support and kindness I've received from friends, fans, and my found family. Like, truly, you all are the reason I'm still alive, and the reason why I'm going into 2026 with a fresh coat of paint, and a smile on my face, and confidence in my heart. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of your lives. And I hope I can make good on my dreams shining so bright that it makes the world a better place. And that brings us up to date, mostly. My partners and I moved together to a new house with some trusted friends who are basically the found family that I never had growing up. And this is a great time to transition to the conclusion and the current day. I'm so great at transitions. I'm like so Sigma Skibbity or whatever. I don't even know. I spent too long rambling about heavy stuff, so I'm trying to add levity, okay? 6-7, 6-7, am I right, fellow kids? God. Why did I write that? Chapter 8. The journey continues. So yeah, things were hard for a while, but I'm finally restabilizing and getting back into streaming and making content again. I'm really going to put my heart into it and work as hard as I can. There's a couple of things I didn't really find a place for in this video that I want to squeeze in. So for starters, Mixty, the literal woke mind virus. Ta-da! I'm a Mixty. I'm the literal woke mind virus, and if you're wondering what's up with this character, who I refer to as Mixty now, during that time in my life, I wanted to kind of reinvent myself, because I felt like trying to be the preppy, happy, genuine self that I used to be would be dishonest, not genuine, and emotionally difficult for me. Momo and Mystia heard me talking about that and took it upon themselves to make me a new design. I was longing so much for a design based on Iono from Pokemon and Silverwolf from Honkai Star Rail. I love this design so much, and I even learned live 2D rigging enough to be the one that rigged it myself. It's not perfect, but I have learned a lot, and I don't know, I'm impressed with myself for having done this and proud of myself for it. My friend Potterzilla, who also I'll link in the description, made the model in the cast station art style, which you may have seen in some Vocaloid videos like Mesmerizer. I wanted to be unhinged and manic and not afraid of being mean. And instead of pretending to be this perfect idealized version of myself, I wanted to full tilt the other way and tell people up front that I was evil, because I used to think that I was a burden. I was harmful, and maybe it's weird, but I legit got so much relief and joy from coming up with and playing the role of Mixty as this more aggressive, mean person. It made me feel less like I was failing to live up to expectations I had for myself as Yukime, the minty fox. Part of why I became the literal woke mind virus and mean and evil was because when those people came by my streams or my tweets or my YouTube videos and told me I was disgusting, told me I would never be a woman, told me that I was selfish and I was everything wrong with the world, and of course told me to myself, it didn't just hurt me, it made me fucking furious. Like, I try so hard to be a nice, genuine, kind, and caring person, so when people like this come at me, it makes me defensive. They're targeting my insecurities and fears. They're telling me that I'm a bad person. Who wouldn't be upset by that? I think I was so afraid that they were somehow right because I was worried that I was actually evil somehow underneath all the attempts to be good and kind. That's why I changed to present myself as Mixty. If people were going to tell me I was a bad person, even when I was trying my very hardest to be kind, patient, and a good person, then I wanted to kind of reclaim that and see if instead of being ashamed of it, if maybe I could be proud instead. After all, if transphobes and bigots who have nothing but hate in their heart get mad at me, that actually should be proof I'm doing the right things and that I'm actually a good person, right? Instead of a soft, smiling exterior with an evil, shitty person behind it, I hoped that maybe I could reverse that and be mean on the outside so people could decide that for themselves, that I was a nice person without me spelling it out for them. A lot of people told me they were confused by it. They thought it wouldn't go over well, it was a bad idea to act that way, and who knows, maybe they were right. But I've grown as a person, and I've learned that I don't have to be just the character I play. I'm a real person, and so rather than continuing to be Mixty 100% of the time, I've gone back to being Minty, who is just myself. I can put on the character hat for Yukime or Mixty once in a while, but those are just parts of myself and not my entire being. I don't regret playing these characters and shaping myself through them. I think I've become a much better and more stable person than I was back in 2020 when I started all of this. I'll still play them once in a while for fun and specific types of content, but I'm finally at a place where I'm happy and proud of myself, so I don't have to fake it till I make it anymore. I've actually made it. I'm genuinely a nice person, and I believe that when I say it. It was during this time that I also kind of figured out that I think I'm actually not just a trans girl, but I'm gender fluid. I'm happy and comfortable with my body and my voice, and so Mixty was a more androgynous design as well to reflect that. I've grown a lot as a person, as the characters that I've played have shaped who I am and given me new perspectives on myself and the world, and I realized that when I was being Mixty, sure, I was more honest and whatever, but I was still shunning the part of me that was actually the kind-hearted, emotionally intelligent kitsune that really wanted to be loved and poured that kindness out into the world. I've been really unsure of myself, and I've gone back and forth on it. I've considered not being open about being trans or presenting myself differently. It's all so hard. I worry that the algorithm might deboost me for being trans, or that I'll end up getting tons of hate for it, or get stuck making content that is exclusively about being trans, and that's just not really what I want to do with my content, you know? I want to be a creator first, and to be appreciated and worth watching for my personality and my heart, and that heart is largely not a gendered thing, at least not in my mind. I'm not sure what the content on my channel is going to look like going forward from here, but I hope that sharing my story like this is something people enjoy. I don't want to hide who I am anymore. And speaking of not hiding who I am anymore, I promised you a surprise at the end, so... Hi! Oh my god, face reveal! Whoa! Yeah, well, lovely to meet you. My name is Yukime. This is who I am. I figured it made sense to share some webcam footage because, like, that's what this video kind of is about. It's about who I am. And maybe some trans people out there will see me and realize, oh, okay, she's not like a supermodel. She's not like impossibly hot. Maybe there's a chance I could be as pretty as her someday. I think you can be. I think you probably already are prettier than you think. I get it. Dysphoria is really hard. Even doing this, I feel really embarrassed, and I'm not sure if I actually think I look good or look terrible. But that's just how the trans brain works, don't you think? So yeah. This is who I am. But I also just kind of want to play games, make music, and inspire as many people as I can. I really wanted to follow up that vocal feminization surgery video with something that talked about my experiences. And I have a lot more to share, but I don't want this video to get too long, so that's it for this one. I'll say goodbye, because now it's your time to shine. Stay hydrated, make sure to eat enough food, take your meds, and know that you're not alone out there, okay? Thanks for watching. Wouldn't it be funny if I disappeared with a Wilhelm scream one more?